Giorno Giovanna is the son of Dio and the main character of Part 5, Vento Ario. He's 15 years old and he wants to take down the Italian mafia from the inside, not destroy it, reform it. He joins the gang Passioni as a foot soldier with nothing but ambition and a stand called Gold Experience. Gold Experience gives life to whatever it touches. A rock becomes a frog, a button becomes a bird. In combat, anything the stand hits has its perception speed cranked to the maximum. The target feels every single fraction of a second stretch out. Every hit lands in extreme slow motion. It's one of the most creative and brutal stand abilities in the series. But Gold Experience isn't the ceiling. The entire final act of Part 5 builds toward one moment. The villain, Diavolo, is completely untouchable. His stand, King Crimson, lets him see 10 seconds into the future using a substand called Epitaph. Then he can erase those seconds, skipping through them while the world keeps moving. Attacks pass through him. Wounds appear on enemies out of nowhere. Nobody can land a hit because by the time they throw one, Diavolo has already seen it and erased it. Team Bucciarati throws everything at him. People die. Plans fail. Diavolo just keeps walking forward like none of it matters because to him it doesn't. He always wins. He has always won. Then Diavolo destroys the Requiem Arrow, a mysterious artifact capable of evolving a stand into something beyond its original form. The moment it shatters, Giorno grabs a fragment. Gold Experience changes. It becomes Gold Experience Requiem. And what Requiem can do breaks every rule the series has established. It resets any action to 0. Any outcome Diavolo reaches simply never arrives. He attacks 0. He erases time 0. He runs 0. Every move he makes disappears before it can mean anything. Diavolo gets trapped in an infinite death loop. He dies over and over in different ways, endlessly with no escape and no ending. Giorno didn't just beat Diavolo. He made Diavolo's victory permanently impossible. Gold Experience Requiem is the final form of a character who never raised his voice and never panicked. He just waited for the moment, and when it came, he ended everything. Yoshikage Kira is not what you expect from a JoJo villain. He doesn't want to rule the world. He doesn't want power. He wants quiet. He goes to work every day, eats lunch alone, keeps his apartment clean, and asks nothing from anyone. His one wish is to live without being disturbed. The problem is that he also kills women and keeps their severed hands as companions. He's been doing it for years. He's never been caught. His stand, Killer Queen, is built for exactly this lifestyle. It's clean, it leaves no evidence. Touch any object once and it becomes a bomb. Touch the target directly and it detonates instantly. No blood, no body, no trace. Killer Queen also carries a secondary weapon called Sheer Heart Attack, a heat-seeking, self-guided bomb built into its knuckle. Sheer Heart Attack rolls out on its own, tracks its target by body heat, and doesn't stop until it explodes. It's nearly indestructible and chases endlessly. Kira doesn't need to be nearby when it activates. For most of Part 4, Kira operates in the background. He kills, he disappears. Nobody in Morio knows who he is. When Josuke and the others finally get close, Kira has his face surgically changed and takes over a dead man's life. He starts over completely. New identity, new family, same habits, but eventually he gets cornered again. He's about to be exposed, and in that moment, desperate and furious, something awakens inside Killer Queen. A third ability, Bites the Dust. Bites the Dust plants a tiny hidden bomb inside an innocent person. If anyone questions that person about Kira, if anyone even starts getting close to uncovering who he is, the bomb goes off. The person asking the questions dies instantly. Then time rewinds by 1 hour. The person who died is alive again with no memory of what happened. Kira is protected behind a loop of explosions and erased time. Every attempt to reach him collapses back to the start. He lives freely. He goes about his day. People around him die trying to find him and wake up with no idea it happened. Bites the Dust is his final form. Not a transformation, not a physical upgrade, a perfect trap built into reality itself. It took Josuke, a kid named Hayato, willing to die over and over inside the loop, and a very specific chain of lucky breaks to finally crack it. Even then, Kira almost made it out. Dio is the reason any of this exists. He set the entire story of JoJo's bizarre adventure into motion in Part 1, and his shadow hangs over almost every part after it. He starts as Jonathan Joestar's adopted brother, cold and calculating, obsessed with standing above everyone else from the moment he arrives in the Joestar household. He uses an ancient stone mask to transform himself into a vampire. The change is immediate and total. Sunlight kills him. Human blood sustains him. In exchange, he gets strength that dwarfs any normal fighter, the ability to regenerate from nearly any wound, fingers that can inject a freezing liquid and stop a person's heart, and a body that conventional weapons simply cannot put down. He defeats Jonathan repeatedly. He burns him, beats him, manipulates him. Jonathan beats him anyway, barely, more than once. At the end of Part 1, Dio loses his body. Jonathan decapitates him, but Dio's head survives, drifting in a coffin at the bottom of the ocean for close to a century. Then he resurfaces. He's been waiting. He attaches his head to Jonathan's corpse, taking the Joestar body for himself. This gives him something new. A stand, the world. And the world's ability is exactly what it sounds like. It stops time. Everything. Every person, every object, every particle in the environment freezes while Dio moves freely. He can reposition. He can strike hundreds of times. He can set up traps and detonate them all at once before time even restarts. By the end of Part 3, Dio can hold the stop for 11 seconds. He walks into the final battle of Stardust Crusaders completely confident. He has every reason to be. He nearly kills the entire team. One by one, they fall. Jotaro is the last one standing, and Dio stops time and starts beating him to death in the frozen world. Nobody watching thinks Jotaro survives this. Then Stardust Star Platinum moves, just barely. Half a second of time stop Jotaro didn't know he had. It's enough. Dio goes down in one of the most iconic moments in anime history. But make no mistake, Dio was one breakthrough away from winning everything. Enrico Pucci is the villain of Part 6, Stone Ocean, and unlike most antagonists in this franchise, he doesn't want power for himself. He's a priest. He was Dio's closest friend, and the mission Dio left him was to reset the universe. Pucci believes that if every human being could know their fate in advance, if they could see the shape of their entire life before it happened, the fear of the unknown would disappear. Suffering would end. People would accept everything. He has been working toward this his entire life. His stand, Whitesnake, steals. It can reach into any person and pull out their stand and their memories as physical discs. He's been collecting the right pieces for years, building toward the exact conditions needed to trigger his evolution. After absorbing 36 souls and merging with a creature called the Green Baby, Whitesnake evolves into Sea Moon. Sea Moon manipulates gravity around Pucci's body, repelling everything near him constantly. Getting close is almost impossible. Worse, it can invert the gravitational pull inside a person's own body, turning them inside out from the inside. But Sea Moon still isn't the end. When Pucci completes every step of Dio's plan, Sea Moon makes its final transformation into Made in Heaven. Made in Heaven accelerates time, at first slightly, then faster, then so fast that the universe burns through its entire remaining lifespan in minutes. Everything collapses, the universe restarts, a new one begins, carrying echoes of the old. Pucci got what he wanted. He won. He actually won. The only thing that stopped him from holding the new universe forever was a boy named Emporio. Not a fighter, no combat ability, just a ghost stand and complete desperation. He barely managed it. In any other version of those final seconds, Pucci walks away with everything. Funny Valentine is the villain of Part 7, Steel Ball Run, and the most genuinely complex antagonist in the franchise. He's the president of the United States in an alternate timeline, and he is not pretending to care about his country. He was captured as a young soldier, tortured, left to rot, and he made it back. He came out of it believing his entire purpose was to protect America from harm, no matter what it cost anyone else. He's collecting holy relics scattered across the American continent, pieces of a saint's corpse said to grant divine protection to whoever holds them. His stand, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, D4C, fits his worldview perfectly. It lets him slip between parallel dimensions by placing himself between two objects. If he dies, he just pulls a version of himself from another dimension to replace him. Another Valentine steps through the gap, completely fresh, ready to go. There is no point killing him. He has infinite lives, and each one that comes through knows more about you than the last. When Valentine finally obtains the Holy Corpse, D4C evolves. It becomes D4C Love Train. In this final form, Valentine is surrounded by a wall of dimensional barriers that redirect all misfortune away from him. Any attack aimed at him gets shunted sideways into the gap between dimensions and lands on a random person somewhere else in the world entirely. The harder you hit, the worse it gets for some stranger on the other side of the planet. Valentine is functionally immune to harm because he's outsourced all his bad luck to the rest of humanity. Attacking him makes the world worse for someone innocent. Every strike you throw is a moral problem as much as a physical one. It took one of the most emotionally charged fights in JoJo history to bring Love Train down, and even then, Valentine died believing he was right. Diavolo runs Passione from complete shadow. Nobody has seen his face. Nobody knows his real name. He has deleted himself from every record that could connect him to his identity. This isn't paranoia. It's a philosophy. The past should be erased. That's what he believes, and his stand was built around it. King Crimson operates through two abilities working together. The substand Epitaph lets Diavolo see 10 seconds into the future in perfect detail, playing out exactly what's about to happen as a vision. Then King Crimson itself erases those seconds. Time continues. Events occur physically, but Diavolo steps out of them. Wounds appear on his enemies mid-motion. Attacks vanish before connecting. People find themselves injured or dead without any memory of being struck. Cause and effect still happen, but Diavolo is not part of the chain anymore. Throughout Part 5, nobody lands a clean hit on him. Not Bruno, not Mista, not Abacchio. Every plan they make gets shredded. Every strategy falls apart the moment Diavolo acts. He watches the future, erases it, and moves on. Fighting King Crimson feels like fighting someone who already finished the fight before it started. The only thing that stops it is something that doesn't play by the rules of causality at all. Gold Experience Requiem doesn't attack King Crimson. It doesn't counter Epitaph. It simply makes every outcome Diavolo reaches disappear before it can exist. King Crimson is one of the most dominant stands ever shown in the series. He just ran into the one thing it was never built to handle. Cars is the main villain of Part 2, Battle Tendency, and his goal is straightforward. He wants to be perfect. He's the leader of the Pillarmen, an ancient species that predates humanity and treats humans as a food source at best and an irrelevance at worst. Cars himself is the one who invented the stone mask, the artifact that created Dio and set every event in the JoJo timeline into motion. He built it because he needed it, a way to become something greater than even his own kind, a being without weakness, without limitation. He spent thousands of years hunting for the red stone of Aja, the only gem that could power the mask at the right wavelength and complete his transformation. In his base form, Cars is already beyond what most fighters in the series can handle. He can grow bone blades from any surface of his body on demand, shaping them into any weapon he needs mid-combat. He's fast enough to dodge bullets without thinking about it. He regenerates wounds as fast as they're dealt. Joseph Joestar barely survives their first encounter encounter and only escapes through sheer desperate improvisation. When Cars finally gets the redstone and puts on the mask, he becomes the ultimate lifeform. Sunlight no longer affects him. His body gains access to the complete evolutionary catalog of every organism that has ever existed on Earth. He can grow wings from any flying creature, generate venom, acid, crushing shells, deep pressure adaptations, heat resistance, any biological weapon evolution ever produced, assembled instantly from his own cells. He heals from anything. He cannot be killed by any conventional method on the planet. Joseph doesn't defeat him. He can't. What Joseph does is accidentally launch Cars into the atmosphere during a volcanic explosion. Cars freezes solid in the vacuum of space. He's still out there, drifting, thinking, unable to die, and unable to do anything about it. Jonathan Joestar is the first JoJo. Part 1 introduces him as a young English nobleman who is kind without needing a reason to be, principled without being naive, and completely unable to become something he isn't, no matter how much the world pressures him. Dio enters his life in childhood and spends years making it worse. He takes Jonathan's dog. He manipulates his father. He humiliates him publicly and privately. Jonathan fights back every time, not with cruelty, but with stubbornness and heart. He trains under William Zeppeli and masters Hammond, developing techniques that let him channel sunlight energy through his fists, his body, and anything he physically touches. His overdrive series of strikes can detonate against a vampire from the inside out. He becomes the most powerfully built JoJo in the entire franchise. At the end of Part 1, Dio returns as a full vampire, regenerating from everything, unstoppable, running toward a ship full of passengers and Erina. Jonathan is dying. He took a wound that cannot be healed. He has minutes left, maybe less. Dio tries to use Jonathan's fading body as a vehicle to escape. Jonathan's last move is to stop him. He channels every remaining trace of Hammond energy left in his body outward all at once, turning himself into a living pulse of sunlight. He holds Dio in place with what little he has left. He doesn't survive it. He knew he wasn't going to. He looked at Erina and told her not to cry, and then he burned out completely so that the ship could go. Jonathan's final form is not a power-up. It's not an awakening. It's a choice made in the last minute of his life with nothing left to give. Every JoJo who came after him, every hero this franchise ever made, carries something of that moment in them.